Informed comment, 25th of June 2023, the boundaries of China's emerging relationship with the Taliban in Afghanistan. Since the Taliban took over in 2021, China has been seen as having a presence in Afghanistan.As an ally of Pakistan. Few nations, including Beijing, keep a diplomatic mission in Kabul, where the Chinese envoy frequently meets with Taliban leaders. Additionally, there has been an increase in Chinese business people traveling to Afghanistan to look for possibilities and sign contracts. The Taliban, on the other hand, have bragged about Beijing's desire to increase commerce and spend enormous sums of money in Afghanistan's mining industry. After a 3-year hiatus, the hardline Islamist organization also declared last month that direct flights between Afghanistan and China would resume. They said this would improve bilateral ties. Even though it might seem like China and the Taliban are allying, experts believe this is only partially true. According to experts, Beijing's main concern in Afghanistan is the threat posed by members of the Turkestan Islamic Party, TIP, a revolutionary Uyghur organization Beijing accuses of being responsible for the turmoil in its western province of Xinjiang and still refers to as the East Turkestan Islamic Movement, ETIM. The Taliban has allegedly provided a haven for Uyghur extremists while doing little to ease China's security worries. Beijing's decision-makers are still concerned that Afghanistan's instability would spread to South and Central Asia, where China has substantial economic and political interests. In the meantime, Beijing has only offered Afghanistan remote development support, and significant mining projects backed by Chinese firms have struggled to get off the ground. Professor and former Afghanistan advisor Barnett Rubin said, "China is not a friend of the Taliban and can only be relied on to pursue its national interest. China's economic engagement with Afghanistan is as much, if not more, about national defense than profit-seeking." Terrorist forces preparing a strike on China for its execution of Uyghurs. The Taliban is thought to have still ties to the Uyghur groups that it permitted to operate in Afghanistan during its authority in the 1990s. Since regaining control, the Taliban has shifted Uyghur fighters from Badakhshan, a province in the northeast of Afghanistan situated along the country's 76-kilometer border with China, to alleviate Beijing's concerns. China, meanwhile, has asked that the Taliban sever all ties to the terrorists and deliver them to Beijing. Although the number of Uyghur militants stationed in Afghanistan is unknown, experts estimate that there are hundreds of them. According to Rubin, convincing the Taliban to hand these militants to China is China's top aim in Afghanistan. Rubin said that Beijing wants the Taliban to maintain strict surveillance and control over the Uyghur militants' actions if they refuse. According to a statement released by China's foreign ministry in April, Beijing hopes that Afghanistan will fulfill its commitment in earnest and take more effective measures to crack down on all terrorist forces. According to Rubin, Beijing's worries that Uyghur militants have been incorporated into the Taliban's military and terrorist structures account for its eagerness to expand diplomatic and commercial ties with the group. Taliban economic incentives to recruit Islamic freedom fighters. Securing investment and economic support is considered a primary objective for the cash-strapped Taliban government, which is still not recognized officially, as it seeks local and global credibility. After the Taliban took control, Afghanistan's economy collapsed, and Western donors worsened the difficult humanitarian situation by stopping vital financial aid. Afghanistan's economic catastrophe overshadows all other problems in the country, claimed Hamid Hakimi, an Afghanistan expert with the Washington-based Atlantic Council think group. The Taliban's popularity and support will grow significantly if they can show they can deliver on the economy. Beijing has come under fire for its infrastructure initiatives in underdeveloped nations across the globe, which Western authorities have labeled exploitative. The Taliban, however, who have actively pursued Chinese investment in Afghanistan's massive undiscovered natural wealth, have not been deterred by this. The Taliban stated in April that a Chinese company was considering spending $10 billion on lithium extraction, a project that would, according to the Taliban, provide jobs for more than 120,000 Afghans. In that same month, Shahabuddin Delaware, the Taliban's Minister for Mining, stated that Afghans are looking forward to exploiting their lithium and other mining deposits for their benefit. The Taliban and a Chinese company agreed to an oil extraction agreement in January. A $150 million investment is anticipated from China's Xinjiang Central Asia Petroleum and Gas Company within the first year of the agreement. The sum is expected to rise to $540 million after 3 years. According to the Taliban, the initiative will create about 3,000 jobs. However, analysts do not anticipate Beijing to make significant investments in Afghanistan, which is severely lacking. Despite a sharp rise in bloodshed, the Islamic State Khorasan terrorist organization continues to launch irregular strikes nationwide. Hakimi states, the Taliban gain from keeping ties with the Chinese government and would also like to use it as both an insurance and leverage against Western countries.